What's going on? You, two, hello? Steve, Michael, Vi- Vi- Joe, Vinny. At some point, allegedly, um, you see Joe, and you're like, I don't know who that is. That's not YouTube or Instagram, TikTok, or whatever. Our good friend Joe, Doctor Exclusive, not Joe from the channel Doctor Exclusive. That one and the same. Another pet peeve for another pet peeve episode down the road at some point. But um, he's been on before. I think this is where he made his uh, visual debut.
It was a few years ago.
Breaking ground and all that fun stuff. So glad to have you on. There might be some other guests that trickle in as the evening goes on and talking about some show that just wrapped up this past weekend.
Yes, and this will be the last time we talk about attendees and everything else, except one other, because we do it every year when we get Ryan and Neil back on. Nice one. To talk about the business side. But different perspective. This is from the collector mindset. Business, collector.
Yeah.
This is the collector focused episode.
And there might be one more. I don't know. It one guy I wanted to get on, he couldn't. Take your earbuds out.
No, I'm intrigued.
So I'd like to get Brad on as well, but like the same thing. I don't want to get so many people on that you're not allowed, but you're just there's too many stories to tell, and then not enough time, and then people start fading out. So,
Mark, clarify your question.
you mean like, was it carpet? Was it hard floor? Was it clean, sticky?
That's where I was going.
Like, if you lined up three of me, could you get through comfortably if you weren't me? I mean, width, narrow. I mean, if you had to squeak past somebody, you didn't know if it was a roll of quarters or something else. So yeah, exactly, a roll of quarters or something else. Perfect.
So Joe, you were there.
Yeah, there was a mix. There was some carpet areas. There was some cement. And in the corporates, they had like this almost like a parquet floor looking, but it was like almost like a sponge. So it was pretty soft in there, in upper deck and tops. So it's some sort of special flooring in that section.
Well, of course, roll out the red carpet for all those guys. They spend the most, I guess, to be there. Maybe, perhaps, I don't know. Maybe they get some discounts. Maybe their spots are free.
I didn't notice too many stains, I'll be honest.
I'll tell you what, the trash can out front of, I think it was one of Mike O's videos, freaking the trash can was overflowing. It was the only trash can that I saw outside the venue.
The ones inside were pretty good.
Were they?
Yeah, all the ones I noticed, and I used a few of them.
So Mark, as you know, Joe has heeded the advice. He wore comfortable shoes, so his feet shouldn't have hurt at all.
They were still tired.
What? How is that even possible? Come on. It's not like you didn't walk, 6, 8, 10,000 steps every day. I mean, come on.
I go to the expo, so I'm only used to 4 days. This was 5 days.
Oh, no. Heaven forbid it's an extra day. Ay.
Well, in Canada, that's like a day and a third or something in the metric system. So,
but yeah, my feet were pretty good.
Is it Is the expo roughly the same size as like a national, or is it cut in
No, it's big. It's big. The National's got to be at least twice or more than twice the size.
Okay.
But it's it's probably the closest you can get to it, but it doesn't come close.
Okay, so before I let you in here, Mr. Hall of Famer, first and foremost, I can't ask you if you're ready because I can't see your face, and that's going to be a problem because the only rule outside of the two main rules, you got to be on camera. Big Scott, everybody else might allow it, not here. We want to see that smiling face of yours.
At least for a little.
Andy's muted, so it's not like. I mean, he can't say anything anyways because we couldn't hear him even if we wanted to. But I know he hears me.
Yeah, don't be shy if you're eating on camera, because I mean, it's not like I've done that once or twice every half hour, if not more.
I'm gonna use the private chat, so maybe he'll respond there.
What's going on, Baz?
So, Paul, come on. Would you not like really? We do have a rule, faces. Like when you were on, you had to show your face. I mean, that's just the way of the game here. Oh, it's all Dave's fault. Ed says he's ready and good to go. Dave told him it was okay if he didn't come on camera. How dare you, Dave?
For at least a little bit. I mean, that's the thing. We gotta see you, Ed. We know what you look like. You made your camera reveal about 6, 7 years ago for National.
How goes it, Ed?
So did a card show happen last weekend?
No. We're here talking about the one that was like 5 years ago. That none of us were at. Well, I wasn't.
That was the last one I was at.
During this episode of the Insert Revolution podcast, Joe needs to divulge his story of the Flying 50s.
Yes, that's on the list. That is definitely on the list of discussion points. So Ed, Mark wants to know how your feet are.
They're fine because I wore comfortable shoes.
See?
You
Come
also
on, Mark. Aye.
I did get the Schmidt photo, Rick. Thank you very much. I do have to do a separate video of I got to do my big smooth troll pack, and I got to show off a couple things that my housemates gave me, and of course the awesome Schmidt photo that you gave me as well.
Well, good. So Mike didn't steal it.
Mike did not steal it. I've been trying to catch up on national recap videos. It's like the cool thing after the show to do, like just to see everyone's perspective and how they engaged the show and how their overall show went. And read a little bit of social media, a little bit of Facebook, went in a couple groups, read some stuff people were saying, and then watched a whole bunch of videos. I'm kind of surprised at all the, I guess, somewhat negativity about the event. I thought Cleveland was incredible. I thought the IX Center did a really, really good job. And I thought everything went pretty smoothly, all things considered.
Well, Joe and I were talking pre-show, and we all know like it, and this should be just a given. Cell service, Wi-Fi at any national is terrible.
Mhm.
That has almost been a given since as long as I can remember watching national videos.
Yep.
Yes, okay, there's long lines at food venues. Well, no offense, what the fuck did people expect? I mean, seriously. It's the largest card show in the US. It's done once a year. Did you think that you were just going to walk up and order food and all would be good? I mean, seriously.
And a lot of people keep saying, like, I watched a couple of videos and even read a little bit about this on Facebook. People keep saying that there was only one bathroom. That is a lie. There was not one bathroom. There was multiple bathrooms in that place. You just had to walk and find them. Like, they were in different areas, but there was way more than one restroom. I counted 5 at least. And that's not counting the VIP room. 5 separate areas to use the restroom.
And another thing that I found that there's a lot of stall men that go to the national, because even when you get in there, you're waiting in that line, you finally see like the inside of the washroom, and there's like 6 urinals open. Everyone's waiting for a stall.
Brad,
Baby.
Brad's 110% correct in his comment. The only legitimate criticism, in my humble opinion, for the National was that they did not open the west entrance, because in 2018 they had both entrances open, the east and the west entrance. They should have had the west entrance open. In fact, that whole area had a bathroom like that. You were able to go through the curtains, and it was kind of like a secret bathroom that not a lot of people were using. And they probably could have fit probably 100 to 200 more dealers in that area. It was a really large space that wasn't being used. But that's pretty much my only criticism of the National this year. They should have opened up that area and used that as a walkway just to buffer more people and space more people out. But other than that, I can't really think of much to complain about.
Yeah, it was good.
Well-
The layout was great, I thought.
Well,
Didn't
Joe
have-
had mentioned something that I found kind of interesting. And I'm curious to hear if you noticed the same thing. So Joe mentioned that he had early access pass. He did not do VIP, but he had early access. Ed, were you VIP or did you do early access?
I
too?
had the 5-day early access, same as Joe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and Joe shared, the little differences between the two. VIP, you get the swag bag, the autograph tickets, that type of shit. Which, if you don't care, what does it matter, right? But he was noticing as they were going in, there were people standing in the line that had like VIP badges.
There were.
But yet VIPs didn't have to, like, you go straight in. Early access, you go straight in. Did you notice the same thing, or was Joe seeing things?
There was a little bit of that, but I kind of chalked that up to, like, there was a lot of people there where it was probably their first or second or maybe even their third national, and they just weren't seasoned enough to know specific things.
Well, and I kind of attributed it to that too, but at the same time, when you're standing in a line and you got your placard on and you're surrounded by other people who don't, like, would you not bother to sit there and be like, wait a minute, am I standing in the wrong line? or ask somebody that was walking by, sitting there basically like, fuck all you, I'm going inside.
That
Yeah,
happens to be the one day. The one day I went over later than the rest of the people in the Airbnb. I parked and there was still a huge, massive line to get in, but everyone in that line was buying day passes just for the day, and they all didn't have any credentials on them or any of those lanyards, badges, and stuff. And I realized right away, I'm like, all these people are buying day passes. And then there was one person, I'm walking down the line, nobody has them on. And one person was there with a VIP pass, like you said. And I told him, I'm like, hey, man, like, you could just walk right up to the door and go in.
Well, see, you did your good deed for the year, Ed.
My one good deed.
Yeah, like when the show opened at 9:30, like we would normally get there about half hour, 45 minutes before it started, and we'd walk right by all those people, some of them with VIP passes, standing in line, and wait just in the little foyer just outside the entrance. And as soon as they opened the doors, we were in within 2 minutes.
I noticed though because you had also mentioned like the 5-day early pass also gets you access to the VIP lounge. The few videos that I have watched of the VIP area, that place was fucking packed. Now, was that a consistent thing throughout, or was it just in those specific instances in which the video was shown, but no real context?
There was people who went into that VIP lounge who never left. They would just set up and sit there the whole day to sell stuff.
Yeah.
Like they didn't actually go to the show. Like they would just camp out at a table all day. Like they basically were makeshift dealer tables, just setting up, selling stuff. And honestly, they didn't have the manpower. The IX Center didn't have the manpower to move these people out. Like they would just set up and take over.
But you could generally get a chair. If like every time I went down there for a break, I could get a chair and sit down.
Oh yeah, correct. Yes, exactly what Joe was saying. There were so many tables and seating areas down there that it wasn't an issue. You could go down there and sit down and relax for a little bit, check your phone, fix your bag. That wasn't a problem. But there were specific people that were going there just to set up.
Gotcha.
To sell stuff.
Because like I remember in Chicago, because that's where I started going. Hey, Orlando, going to the bathroom in Chicago was like the quote unquote the VIP area. There wasn't shit set up in there. At least not Friday and Saturday. Because that's, of course, when I'm like, oh shit, I can go over here. I don't have to go stand in this line. Hey, I'm going in here. But no tables, no chairs, no nothing in Chicago.
I think Joe will agree. The best thing about the VIP area was definitely it was nice and cold down there.
Yeah.
Like it was almost chilly down there. Like they were really pumping in the air conditioner down there.
Yeah, it was comfortable. I didn't find the show floor other than that one area that was kind of warm, but I found the show floor to be pretty good temperature wise throughout.
Yeah, nothing like Wednesday, Thursday in Chicago.
Nothing like Chicago.
Where we were all dying.
You know, a lot of people didn't even mention this, but the IX Center brought in additional actual air-conditioned mobile units to put onto the sides in some of the more warmer areas. Like no industrial-sized fans, where they were using mobile AC units. Like it was really comfortable in there. It was nice and cool in there. Which, for the amount of people that went through there, is very impressive.
And the cumulative weight of everybody that went through there.
Dave, I'll tell you right now, I had a couple interactions with some randoms walking up to me who literally stunk badly. Badly. Like, we're not talking like, oh man, that kind of smells like. No, like hose this person down with a fire hose. They smell so bad.
I'm gonna say next year, if you go back to the gimmick of wearing like the suit, like on the inside have like sticks of travel deodorant with like prices on it. If you smell these people, like, hey, I got a deal for you. Open up that suit coat and watch that money fly in.
You walk around with aerosol and hit them with it.
But guys, most people heeded to the deodorant call.
Yes.
There was only a few people that kind of smelled.
Oh, that's still it. When you smell, that is just like a smell of death.
Where else are you going to go and get a comment from Snoop talking about dealers selling deodorant?
I didn't see that.
Did anybody have that on their bingo card? Gotta ask. What's going on, Snoop?
I'm telling you right now, if there was a business suave person that lived near the IX Center, like a local, that just loaded up their van or their truck with just cases and cases of water, they would have made thousands this week selling bottled water outside, because those lines were long outside. So they would have made an absolute fucking killing selling water. You would have made more selling water than flipping cards. Maybe enough to buy a mantle. Who knows?
Well, PSA 1, maybe. It's always a possibility, right? Now, are we talking the rookie card, or are we talking about the 51 Bowman?
I see what you did there.
No shit. That's why I said it.
By the way, you'll get a kick out of this. I was hanging out with my friend Jeremy it was Saturday. It was either Friday or Saturday. And we were down the VIP room. He was picking up an order from CGC, and I wanted to check out his order. And we were also making a couple trades, our yearly art of the deal. And anyway, this kid sets up, probably about like 18, 19 years old. He starts setting up, pulls this big Pelican case onto the table, starts setting up all his cards. Well, I realized it's mostly vintage that he's setting up. And he pulled out a 52 tops Jackie in like a SGC 4. And then he pulls out a 52 tops Mantle in an SGC 5. And I tapped Jeremy on the shoulder. I'm like, oh, look at this. I was like, yo, Jeremy, go run to the ATM and grab 60 grand out of there and give it to him. So a bunch of people came up and were like inquiring about trading and buying. And every time someone would come by, I would kind of laugh, because I'm like, okay, who's walking around with like that type of money to buy this card? So a couple of people did like seriously inquire about the 52 tops Mantle, and he wanted $100,000 in cash only. He said cash only, $100,000.
Jesus.
I said, sure, no problem. Let's just go to every ATM. And it's Saturday, son. The banks are closed. You do know that, right? Oh, my God, man.
Now, truth be, some of the bigger dealers, I could see having $100K in cash. Seriously.
Oh, yeah. But how many?
Right?
That's like a half dozen? Maybe 10 at most?
Small numbers from an overall percentage perspective. But, I mean, I get it. It's the best time to try and, show off your shit. But, again, most people don't have $100 grand in cash.
I mean, it's certainly possible. If it's going to happen, it'll happen at the National for sure.
100%.
Just the amount of money that's in that room. But I just couldn't get over just being so nonchalant about, oh, I just want to make $100,000 sale. Like, come on, big dog. The IRS might want to know about that sale. Jesus.
Yeah, and where's your dad as he's watching you try and, make this cash?
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to file his taxes.
You might want, I mean, and even if you make that sale, let's say theoretically you do make that sale, you're going to do it in the middle of the TikTok VIP lounge and someone's going to hand you a duffel bag of $100,000 and you're going to walk out with it. My guy, you might need Boba Fett to take you to the car. Might need some bounty hunters. Come on, man. Like the situational awareness is kind of, sometimes you just really have to shake your head.
Yeah, and if that's the case, if he wanted $100,000, so it costs you 110 to do a wire. Let's say. That way you're at least protected in multiple ways. But you're not walking out with the $100,000 in cash.
Joe, you want to tell the guys about the parking lot?
Hold on 1 second. Real quick, hold on. I heard about this, Rick. I heard about this. And it was all, if I'm not mistaken, it was like high dollar vintage. Like the Grail shit, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways. Go ahead, Ed. Re-ask your question.
Joe, or you got to tell the panel about the parking lot, leaving the parking lot. What was the fragrance that was very strong in the parking lot?
Oh, marijuana?
Yes.
Gotta be, yeah.
It was pretty strong in Chicago too. But it was there.
For those who know what it smells like.
This was a little over the top though. It was like you could have got a contact high. It was really strong. Especially in the exhibitor parking lot. The exhibitor parking lot that we walked through, Joe. Holy Christ. Like we literally got hit with waves.
Yeah, they're trying to calm their nerves and stuff in preparation for some of the douchebags, I guess.
Where's your cereal?
Bob. I'm coming.
Where's your cereal? Bob, you'll be very disappointed to know I bought Captain Crunch to the Airbnb and nobody ate it.
What?
Not one bowl of cereal was eaten. And I brought my own box? I brought my own bowl and my own spoon, and I didn't even eat it.
That's a travesty, man.
I did bring it home with me though, and I had a bowl before coming on here.
So I was pretty shocked. I was stocking the cereal aisle at the grocery store and found 2 expired boxes of Captain Crunch Oops All Berries in the back. I'm like, Pittsburgh let me down, man. The fact that cereal can expire in my neighborhood is just a travesty.
Somebody's not following the FIFO, man. That's a problem.
How's everybody doing?
Doing good. Rick says he missed you, Bob. Or
I missed everybody.
He said we missed you.
Yeah, I missed the gang as well. Just wasn't in the cards this year.
Hey, we've already started planning for next year, guys. Like already.
It's all right. Then there will always be another national, so you can always just go the next year.
That's right. I like the Chicago. Does it still do that? Bounce every other year to Chicago?
It's Chicago the next 3 years, Bob.
Oh, nice. See, that's how out of the loop I am.
That's 3 years of Big Chicken, Portobello's, Wrigley Field, Giordano's.
Yeah, I was sitting on the couch watching the Buccos, and I'm like, wait a minute. I better – thanks for the text, Joe, because I would have been sitting – I would have been Well, I would have been logging on soon, anyways. But yeah, we're already live. All right. I'm off my game, but here I am.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
We've been on Wednesdays for over a month, so the fact that we're back on Tuesdays, not at the regularly scheduled time, mind you. So Dave,
still
I gotta
counts.
ask, is this the new preferred time? Did you finally listen and this is gonna be the new preferred time moving forward?
More than likely, yeah. It works. It works. So
Well, my biggest concern is always the fact that you work early in the morning, that type of stuff. Sometimes you like to come home, you like to take a nap. It's an extra 30 minutes to potentially stuff your face. Not that you don't stuff your face sometimes still when we're live anyways, not that it matters, but it's nobody's going to care. Like nobody here is going to sit here and bitch that, oh, no, I am no longer going to watch them anymore. They've changed the start time.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because we were stuffing our faces.
No,
Because you'll get no judgment for that either. There's no wrong time to stuff your face, especially if it's cereal.
this is true. This is true. So okay. Go ahead, Bob.
No, I was just going to say, Skeens pitched yesterday, so my dad was like, hey, we should probably get a Skeens. I was like, well, his Tops doesn't come out until update, I'm assuming, because it's not in Series 2. He's like, oh, what about the Bowman? So I hadn't looked, but like a paper from 23 draft Bowman is like 21 bucks on eBay, right? So I just said, let me just hit that sort of sold by auction, so not just to buy it now. And there was a ungraded numbered to 50 that sold on the 24th for like $6,500 or something, a gold refractor auto. So I asked him to guess, and he guessed 1,200. So I said, yeah, we might, the window might have passed.
We got a full crowd, man.
Who is that mysterious man?
I don't know.
That's a YouTube Hall of Famer.
Is that Batman?
Oh, am I in?
Yes.
Are you wearing a fake mustache?
That's Paul Skeens.
yeah,
That does look like Paul Skeens.
And I didn't think I had anything to ask, but then Bob showed up.
I think he's talking through a water jug.
I think
it almost sounds like it.
He's still on air traffic controller radio, I think.
We can barely hear you, Mark.
We'll just pretend you're saying something really funny.
Well, yeah, and he's sporting the porn stash, man. He is sporting the porn stash.
I mean, if there's one guy in the community that could and should, let's be honest.
Tell him shortly. Maybe I can get on my rig. I'll talk to you guys shortly.
Okay.
All right, Mark.
He was coming around. That's that car vibe, too.
Yeah, I mean, it was. What's interesting is usually even when he calls in from the car, like with this is a fucking live TV show or something. Well, it is live, but
We're live from Chicago. Yeah.
Hey, he has a sunroof, so he must be doing pretty good.
he usually comes in pretty clean.
That may have even been a moonroof. That looked like bigger.
Well, we know Mark's rolling in the big bucks.
I mean, you have to if you got a stash like that.
Yeah.
He's one of the few people that who can walk in to any venue and say, "How much to buy this bitch out?" I got cash.
And the dealer that sells out doesn't even have to look at the cash. He's like, I trust you. We're good.
That's right.
Well, YouTube Hall of Famer, man. All it takes is busting out that patch. All right, Joe. Tell us the Flying 50 story.
Yeah.
All right, Ed likes this.
Love this story.
So we were walking in on day one. I think it was day one, through the parking lot, and next thing I know, I look down and I found a $50 bill sitting on the sidewalk. I'm looking around. No one looked like they dropped it. So I picked it up, and Ed was really impressed with it, but all the guys were. And then we calmed down. And we're continuing walking, and next thing I know, I found another one. And I thought it was like some sort of like, influencer YouTube prank or something. I'm like, do I pick this up? I'm like, if I don't pick this up, someone else is going to grab it. And and then it had 250s, and when we got inside, of course, I'm not American, so I needed to talk to someone to confirm that these bills are legit. so Mike Fabian, he held them up to the light, and he was showing me that they were. So I was like, wow, I got $100 here.
God bless America.
Did you turn that? Were those set aside for anything? I mean, obviously not set aside until you had them in your possession, but like, was the purchase made with them?
Yeah, you're right. You read my mind. Yeah. Well, no, actually, I didn't end up spending it because I put them in a special spot in the wallet because I wanted to spend them on a $100 purchase. But so I tried getting one card for $100, and the guy wouldn't do it. So he talked me up to 120. So I'm like, oh, I can't use those 50s now. So I was saving them for one card to get my my free flying 50s card, and it didn't happen. So now that's going to be brought next year.
Or I know I could turn you on to some NFTs or something, something like that. I'm sure there's probably. I mean, I don't see why not.
So yeah, so that was one of my best pickups, or two of them.
So I have to ask.
That was the day.
Go ahead, Ed.
That was the day you were wearing the Jets Brett Favre jersey too. Maybe if you would have worn that every single day, you would have potentially found more 50s.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it to the show next year. Now you say that.
Bring it to the expo. You might bring it to the expo. You might find some floating Canadian money.
Hell, I'd have spent a few extra minutes and looked around in the whole area to see if there was more.
Yeah,
we probably should have did that. That where he found those 50s was in the again the infamous exhibitor parking lot. That was the exhibitor parking lot, Joe, that you found those in. The second one was blowing though. The wind was taking that sucker away.
I felt bad for whoever lost them, but I would have gave it back if someone's like, "Oh shit, I lost some money," right? But
you should have did a social experiment and make an announcement at the national, like found 250s and see how many people.
If you can confirm the serial number, I will give these back.
Right.
Because that's the first thing I do when I hit the ATM.
Yep.
It was probably Ken Golden, so don't feel bad, Joe. He has enough money.
So there, mind you, and I was telling Joe this. Like, I've watched quite a few videos so far. Most of the larger channels, influencer type, like I've stayed away from because, truth be told, I don't care. But a few of the ones that I've watched at random that, still had several hundred views, but like I'm not subscribed to them. A lot of people were bitching about the dealers. Like unreasonable dealers. And they made it seem as though it was the majority. Ed, from your perspective, at least from the stuff that you picked up, yes, we know that you paid full sticker for whatever autograph you did on day 0 or whatever it was. What was your experience when trying to bundle and or work a deal with dealers for the stuff that you picked up?
Unequivocally, no, I did not have that experience. I found that dealers were very, very reasonable. Now, were there unreasonable dealers there? Absolutely. There is every single national. There's always a couple dealers who are well over like any recent sales or they're well above like the normal sticker price. But I found the overwhelming majority of dealers that I was interacting with and buying from were willing to work with you and come off 20 to 30% roughly around their sticker if you had cash.
Understood. I mean, that's a given. Cash is king. Like we all know this.
Now, I did see a lot of interactions where dealers were like, well, if you're sending to me Venmo or PayPal, it's got to be more. But if you have cash, we'll cut you a better deal. I did see a lot of that.
Makes sense. I mean, we all get it. We all understand that.
Honestly, I feel like every card I picked up, aside from one, I got fantastic deals on, like below what they normally go for. The only card I overpaid for, I feel like, was probably the Reese Hoskins super short print that I got from RBI Crew. But honestly, that's a really tough card to find. It's not a card that often pops up, and I did get $10 off the sticker, so I still got a decent deal. And if I would have found one on eBay when they occasionally pop up, I would still have to pay tax and shipping. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I got it there in my hand, so I'm haggling over a couple bucks. It's not a big deal.
Right. How about you, Joe?
Yeah, oh well, a mixture. I only bought stuff that I felt like I got a good price on. But yeah, there was stuff that I saw that was way overpriced, and you can't even really make an offer on some things because you're just going to insult the dealer, and you know what I mean. Like if it's a $100 card and they have it priced at for $350, you know what I mean. Like what do you offer at that point?
Well, that's a good point. But at the end of the day, I mean, maybe it'll prove a point.
If they feel that your offer is rude, well, their price was rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I saw one that it's on ComC for $58, and they had a $300 price tag on the same. The only difference was it was an SGC 8 and a PSA 8.
Yeah, PSA tax is not that much of a difference ever.
No.
Unless you're talking PSA 10, then that's a different conversation. But an SGC 8 and a PSA 8, like, yes, there's the PSA tax, so to speak. I'll use the air quotes, but not to that extreme. Not on an 8. There's no way.
And I did have one interaction early on. This is like an Ed story. I'm in the show for like 10 minutes. I started in the one corner up by PSA, and I'm working down the first aisle, and I'm like 3 or 4 dealers down, and I was just going through. I checked out his showcases. Then I saw some hockey value boxes. I'm like, they look pretty good. So and like I got a Bob Gainey rookie card for 50 cents in the 50-cent box, right? So this guy had 50-cent boxes and a dollar box. So I pulled out a few cards in each one, and then I go to pay the guy. I'm like, okay, I got these like 3 out of the 50 cent, and these 2 out of the dollar. And he looks at it, and he's like, I can't sell you that. That's not supposed to be in that box. I'm like, I'm probably the first guy that went in the box. And it was like a Patrick Waugh 95 Summit Ice. You know what I mean? It's like a $10 card in the dollar box. But he had like a Bob Gainey rookie in the 50-cent box. So anyways, we didn't really argue, but I just said, okay, I'm not gonna. Goes, oh, that should be in the $5 box. But so I didn't end up buying those cards. I got the ones for the 50 cent. I probably would have, if they were actually in the $5 box, I probably would have bought them. But I wasn't that butthurt over it. It's just I don't know. I didn't really like the interaction with that dealer, and he apologized at the end. Like I guess maybe he thought I was still going to buy it, but
Well, that's a douche move.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's seen it yet. And Dave, I already know your answer because I know you haven't watched it. But JT's day. I'll call it day one, Wednesday vlog from the National. And he almost like he had the same interaction with a dealer. He stumbled across like a shit ton of judge rookies. And I don't remember exactly what they were, but it was like a stack. They were in the dollar box. So of course, you know, JT's a business guy.
Yep.
Of course, he's like, and like he has them all. And of course, as the guy's looking through them, and you know, he's like, "Oh yeah, that." Now, he was able to finalize the deal, but he didn't get all of them because there was like 10, 12, something like. I mean, there was quite a few. So JT didn't walk away with all of them. They at least came to an agreement, like, "Hey, we screwed up. I'm willing to do something with some of these, but I can't do all of them." And like JT was cool with it. Like he was honest about it, but at the same time, he wasn't like a complete douche, like you experienced, Joe, in your situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, look through your shit before you go to the show.
Yeah.
Like organize your shit. Take the time and organize your shit.
Yeah, and he barks it out right at the start, and like other people look up from their value box to see what's going on. Like, is this guy trying to pull a fast one on his dealer? So that's what I was kind of mostly ticked off about. And then he says, "Oh, someone must have put those in there by accident." I'm like, "Yeah, the show just opened. How many people have gone through these boxes?"
The show just opened, scrub. Here's what you should have done. You should have done what I told you at the Airbnb. You should have dropped the Queen bill, the 5 Canadian, and said, "Kiss my ass." And then walk away.
Yeah, I was impressing those guys with my Canadian money.
I just now mind you, okay, so like I can't speak from a lot of experience. You know, I've only been to one national. I've only been to a couple shows ever in my life. And the first couple shows I went to when I was much younger, things were a lot different than what they are now. You know, you didn't have $1,000 cards sitting in showcases and everything else. I mean, you had like a few $100 cards in showcases, and maybe depending on how big the dealer was, you'd have a run of, you know, $5 cards, $10 cards, or whatever. Like there were no value boxes at the first couple shows I went to. That was not a thing. And then, of course, going to my first national, I could see situations in which you've got somebody sitting there spending a lot of time looking through value boxes. And if a dealer's busy, basically like moving shit from one box to another, walking away for a few minutes, coming back. And so the dealer sees them looking at this box and pulling out stuff that they put in there to basically bamboozle the dealer. Like, basically, when you think about it, it's stealing. I mean, that's really what it is. I'd be curious to know how frequently that happens.
It must happen. And here's the other thing. Like when I finished in the 50-cent box, he goes, "Oh, I got a $1 box over here." I'm like, "Okay, I want to look through that." And then I even ask him, I'm like, "How are you going to know which ones?" Like I want to make it clear. Like I'm not going to try to put them together. I want to have these separated, right? He goes, "Don't worry about it. I know which ones are from which box." And then 2 minutes later, they're in the wrong box.
If it was Thursday or Friday, I could understand.
This is 6:45.
Because like people don't always pay attention, so to speak. Like that's one thing that when Dave and I were looking through the few value boxes and stuff that we were looking through, we wanted to make sure that we were putting shit back to where we got it. because any decent person, that's what you should do. But if you have a shit ton of people and you've got people out stretching over here and stretching over here, like I can see people just like sticking shit back wherever it goes. And unless like you have a color code system or something along those lines, you have, green dots for your dollar cards and red dots
Seriously.
for your $5, then of course you're going to know what goes where. And if somebody's tried to like pull the wool over your eyes. But
And
homeboy
that's-
sitting there saying that should have been in the $5 box. If there's not color codes or anything else on it, like how the fuck do you know? Really?
And that's what I was gonna say. You fucking have a green dot for $1, pink for 50, red for 5, whatever the case may be, and you've got your little notepad there saying what you've got as your increments there. Because you're not gonna ever have that if you just do everything. Oh, I know what it is. I know. No, you don't. Because obviously you're taking fucking inventory, or you haven't straightened everything out at the beginning of the show, and if it's 10 minutes in, you're already screwed up.
Yeah.
Man, you don't have a clue what's going on.
Even your pricing like chart, if your colors and the like something visible for the people stopping at your table, like you would have that. It wouldn't even be in your notebook, like behind the scenes. You'd have it posted, like at least I would. So, because maybe stuff is mixed together. You don't even take the time to separate it by box. And he's like, "This has a pink on it. What? How much is pink? Oh, that's $1. Whatever." You would have some system. Because inevitably, people are going to put stuff back in the wrong box, So you'd have to have something on the individual card.
Yeah,
I will say there was a lot of bad value box etiquette by people going to the show. What I mean by that is this happened to be at least 4 or 5 times over the course of the week, and all by older people. Not so you can't blame the kids for this one. But people, what are your thoughts on when you're looking through a value box and someone cuts you off in the same row that you're looking in?
No bueno.
Yeah.
And it happened to me like 4 or 5 times, and each one was older. Like we're talking like probably 40 to 60 years old.
Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
I'm like, yo, big dog, I'm still looking through that row.
Right, I'm not even okay with like I'm in this row, you can take that row. Like if it's a shoe box or a 3-row box, like let me look through this box. Especially if there's like 8 other boxes available, like I don't know. That's not good etiquette.
Or you tag team it. You stand there with somebody else and you both kind of own the box, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's what Dave and I did. He started on the left. I started on the right. I started looking through stuff. And as I saw a few things, I'd show him to Dave. And he'd be like, no, I'll get to it. But like, and he would show me stuff, that type of stuff. And then when we got to the middle, we really kind of like, we were both looking at stuff at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to the left and he moved to the right. This way, like nobody's going to get in the mix of getting in the middle of the box that we're looking at because it's us.
Yeah.
If we miss something, that's on us. It's on nobody else cutting in and taking the spoils, right?
No, but I hate that. I've that's happened before. It's like, what the fuck do you do? I mean, seriously, do you want to hold hands while you look through this or what? Like, no. Just fucking back off. When I get done, you can be right next to me. I hate you in my bubble, but you can be right next to me, and then you jump in when I'm done. That's fine, but don't sit there and, like, if I've got my hands out to put a stack away, your fucking hand goes through those hands to, like, grab a stack. I'm like, no. There's enough cards in this place that you can find somewhere else to look. It's not like I'm pulling out 89 Griffey upper decks for $5. There's not a whole like row of them, so you don't have to worry about that. If I'm pulling out a Billy Wagner Pacific 32, and that's what you're jonesing for, it's like then go sit down, go sit in the corner. That's that shit's aggravating, especially when it's older people. No, I expect that from kids because again they're excited and again, they haven't seen that many nerds ever and whatnot. But older folks, that they just need to be kicked in the dick.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what surprised me though, because like you said, sometimes you expect that from like the younger attendees, but all these guys were older, so that kind of surprised me. There was also this one guy. This moment sticks out to me. This was on like a Friday, and I was just going through looking for value boxes, going through some value slab boxes, and this one older guy. He didn't want nobody around him. He wanted his own personal space. So the way that he combated that was coughing all over the place very loudly, like coughing
I saw
all
that.
over the boxes, coughing everywhere. And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not getting sick. I don't know if this guy has COVID or something. I'm getting away from this old guy. Like he literally cleared out an entire section because he was just coughing everywhere. Biological warfare at the National.
I also saw a guy. He'll lean over to like a whole showcase, and he'll put both his arms on either end of the showcase, so you can't see anything in there. He's like hugging the showcase because he wants to get a good look at it.
Wow.
Give me
I
a
was gonna
fucking
I was
break.
going to text you guys. I was going to text you guys in our group chat. I'd be like, what do I do to combat this? I'm like, you know what? It's not even worth it. I'm like, on to the next one. It's the National. There's so many dealers.
You should have ripped ass, and that would have fixed it. You should have like ripped ass.
You should have done
I mean,
a
come on.
farmer's blow right in his face. But fuck you.
Or got you a really good, nasty like
Yeah,
beer burp or something, and like blew it in his face.
pick your nose and wipe it on his glasses. Like God, I hate this. Yeah, that stuff too. That's always you see that. Like, cover your fucking mouth. That's what you say right there. Cover your fucking mouth. How old are you? 2? Fuck off.
Or better yet, Ed, you should have said, "Oh damn, that was a greasy one. I think I just sharted."
Yeah.
See, that's
So,
why
yeah.
I did use, like, people were talking about the bathrooms and the restrooms. Like, I actually went into the bathroom probably like twice a day just to wash my hands. I would go in
Yeah.
there, use the sink, wash my hands, lather up for a good 2 minutes, and then leave. That's why I'd never had an issue with the bathroom, and I was so confused why people were complaining about the bathrooms.
I think all these suggestions need to go on next year's round of like how to prepare for the national videos, you know?
Do a quick
deluxe
smell
flavor.
check.
Eat a lot of like gassy foods beforehand, cauliflower, you know, all that good stuff.
Have my chili on Tuesday night and then
That's right.
Flavor
Have
for
some
Wednesday.
pocket garlic just in case somebody's getting too close.
Carry a couple cans of anchovies with some dealers and assholes. Just put them open, crack them open, and
Yeah.
put them on something.
Yeah, slip one in a top loader and put it in his 50-cent / $10 card box.
Put a pink sticker on it. Yeah, next time he opens the showcase to show somebody, you like, slide it right in there.
Oh, sometimes
Then-
I wonder about all of us. Get all of us
Then-
together and oh shit.
Then I tried helping a kid out who was trying to make a deal, but like I think he was just trying to grift this dealer. He comes up to the table and he was trying to get a Willie Mays. I think it was like 19, like a 56 or 57 Willie Mays, an SGC slab. I can't remember what the price was, but he says to the dealer, "Oh, what do you want for the Mays?" And the dealer's like, "Well, I have the price on the card." He's like, "Yeah, but what? Do you got any room? Like, what's your best price?" So then the dealer says to him, "Well, what price do you have in mind? What's your offer?" He's like, "What is your offer?" He says,
Oh Jesus.
So I said I actually got involved. So because I'm standing there, I'm like, I look to the kid. I'm like, you have to give him an offer, and then you work from there. Like, don't be scared to give out a price. Just whatever price. Like, don't be scared to lowball or whatever you got to do. Do what you got to do. Just throw your price out there. He won't take it personally, and then he'll tell you if you're close or not. So he's like, no, he needs to give me a price. I'm like,
No.
so then that's when the dealer stepped in. The dealer's like, listen, son, I can't negotiate against myself. I'm not going to do that. He's like, you have to actually give me an offer and then we'll work from there. So then the kid's like, I got to go speak to my dad. I'll be right back. And then he never came back. I'm like, dude, you have to make an offer though. Like, we got to get these kids on a learning curve. You got to make an offer.
Was there
Well,
a
you
price
can't-
on the card to begin with?
There was a price on the card. I can't remember what it was though. It wasn't a cheap card though. I'll tell you that. I think it was like a 4 or 5, so it's pretty pricey. And it was Willie Mays.
Well, of course, like he sends the kid over, like dad sends the kid over thinking that they're going to do something better for a kid. That's some bullshit too in itself.
You know what? That's actually a good point, Steve. I didn't think of that.
Not saying that that's what it that not saying that that's what's going on, but like let's
But
be
it's
real.
happened.
It would be no different than like you know, you take your hot wife with you to the national and you send her over to negotiate something and you know bend over and show some cleavage and everything else. Like, come on, you can't tell me that that shit doesn't happen.
You've seen that display case move and there's no hands being moved. It's like, what's going on with you? There's some fucking Harry Houdini shit over here.
And make
That
sure
didn't
she
mean-
keeps the cash in her bra.
Yeah,
That didn't
Yep. So exactly, and
a couple hundred
come on.
right there, and
I mean, come on. Like, people are going to use any and all tactics to get the best deal possible, whether that be for the personal collection or to resell later. And I would love to be in an open forum and have a shit ton of dealers in a room and ask the question, how many times do you get somebody pulling the whole it's for my personal collection or I'm buying it for a friend that you get on the daily? And how much, like, what's the percentage you think is actually legitimate? Because
a gift for my spouse or my dad or my brother. It's a
my
gift.
kid, you know, so,
Disabled veterans. I'm
Yep.
buying it for a disabled veteran at the VFW.
Yeah.
Any heartstring that can be pulled upon has been pulled upon at some point.
yes, but it would be interesting to see exactly how frequently it happens. And of that number, what the percentage is actually legitimate. Because dealers are there to make money,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I feel as though if it really is for a personal collection, whether it be player collector, set registry, whatever, and you engage in conversation and you kind of can prove that what you're stating is legitimate, you may get a little bit more of a price break potentially.
I wonder if that plays into what you're asking. If there's like a because I see videos of like content creators that are like working deals with kids, and and it's like they make it like they've given them a good deal, and so I mean sometimes it is, or they give them a free this or that, or add a card on top, or there's like some kind of content that they can post to make the content creator look good, like they're one with the community, they help out the guy that they're the kid or whatever, you know what I mean, like they use it to their advantage in a
That
way,
happens all the time. Come on,
right.
Paul. Come on. That happens all the time. Come on.
It's almost, and how many of those are set up beforehand? Okay, you're going to come over. You're going to say this, and maybe that's conspiratorial like thinking, but yeah, I don't know, man. I wonder how much of those are like spur of the moment, genuine like moments captured.
But it's feasible when you think about it in the number of quote unquote content creators influencers that attend these shows, and miraculously at every show that they go to, there is that same sort of interaction. I mean, come on. Really?
Yeah, it definitely happens, and I'm sure if you're any good at doing that, like you've got stuff that you almost set aside, like you're just waiting for the the Aaron Judge kid to come around. You know what I mean? Stuff that you're almost willing to like let go to make that video, let go cheaper to make that sort of scene for your content.
No
I
joke.
don't know. So before we dive into more Cleveland stuff, Mark. Yes. Hi, Mark.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to
Is that a
see you.
Diamondback hat?
Is this better audio?
Yes, much better.
Does it sound like I'm talking through a funnel or a jug?
No,
No,
you sound,
it does not.
No, you sound good.
It
I have
looks
two
like you're
questions
sitting on
for you.
Steve's veranda.
I have two questions for you. One, are you drinking Malart?
No, I actually, when you were talking earlier, I was thinking I should go get my bottle of Malort. It's the same
No.
bottle. It's the
No.
same bottle from last year.
That is to be saved.
And,
Which is
and
why.
I was
So-
like, I was gonna do it as a joke, but actually pour some, and I was like, I can't do it, man. I can't.
That's why I led with that question.
Yeah.
So we're already starting to kind of talk about Chicago next year.
Did I hear you correctly that it's going to be in Chicago 3 years in a row?
Yes, it is
Yes,
in
sir.
Chicago 3 years in a row. So when we talked last year, you were lucky enough to get the time that you did to go last year.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you know it's a year away,
Yeah.
what are the chances that you can make the full experience and hang with the crew?
By full experience, if you mean like the whole show, pretty much
Almost
zero.
the whole show. Almost.
So
I'll
the
change
prob-
it. Almost the whole show.
the
How's that?
problem is that there's this big aviation event, and of course, every single year it is the same weekend.
Not this bullshit again.
Every single year. So
Tell him to change it.
I've tried.
You're a YouTube Hall of Famer, man. Tell him to change it.
Dude,
Come on.
This is the biggest aviation event in the world, and it's in Wisconsin. So I used to work at. What's up?
Oshkosh.
Oshkosh.
Why is it not in Dubai?
Dude?
Yeah.
This is like the Catalina wine mixer, man. It's
Kind
I-
of random being Wisconsin.
I
No
could
offense to
spend-
Wisconsin.
I can spend hours talking about Oshkosh. So effectively, what's important is we need more staffing for that weekend because it's insane and it's dangerous, and they need more people working, more eyes on the traffic. So it's really hard to get that week, anytime that week off. That being said, I think I can do more of the nice, of course. Did you hear that they actually, because of that movie, they have a Catalina wine mixer now? It's like a real event.
As they should.
As they should, I agree.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to go probably more than I did last year. I'm just gonna have to, maybe leave at 5 a.m, stuff like that.
And
Boozy.
by going to the show more though, is it still one of those in which it would be like go to the show, come hang out, drink some Malart, do whatever, crash there, then get up and go work, and then do the same thing the next day type situation? Is that
Probably, yeah.
okay?
So we have to bid on our leave for the whole year, and this happens. I don't know, in a few months. We bid for the whole year, so I'll know ahead of time. I don't even know what my days off are going to be next year. Like my weekend, I don't even know what my weekend is going to be. So
Gotcha.
it's impossible to say now. That being said, I definitely will be there in whatever capacity I can. Like I can't miss it. You know.
So what are the dealers like at the aviation convention? Are they as big as Deuce as they are at the?
I actually have been to an aviation convention for my job. It was pretty hilarious. Like they're showing off all this technology, and it's like, what? Like, who are you talking to? Like, oh, cool, man. All right, I'll buy 10,000 of them. Like, I don't know what this is. The only thing I ever tried to buy there was legitimately cool. I had to go to this presentation, and there was this guy. I think his name was Mike Schul or Mike Schur. He flew SR-71 Blackbirds, and
Okay.
I don't know how far this permeates outside of aviation culture, but he has, like, in my opinion, it's like the most badass story ever. And this guy was he became like a pretty accomplished photographer. So he would go up. Do you guys know what the Blackbird is? The SR-71
Oh, yeah.
Blackbird? Yeah. So they basically go up into space, and this guy would bring his camera up there, and he would take incredible pictures, but it was all classified. Like you can't have pictures in the cockpit of this top secret plane. And then finally, the pictures got declassified by the U.S. government, and he gave a presentation at this conference, and it was like amazing. And he said, I actually did another run of prints for this book just for this conference. So me and this guy I was with, we were like, we got to buy one. These full page, full color HD pictures, all this stuff. So we run and we get in line. There's like a line of like, I don't know, 50 people. And it was akin to the line of getting in at the National. You know, everyone's just standing there chatting or whatever. And then some guy walks by and he's like, hey, just a heads up, the book's $350.
Holy shit.
All right, never mind. So it was very similar, actually, to my National experience, to answer your question in a roundabout way. Like, oh, I would like that thing. How much are you asking for it? I would not like that thing. Never mind. Have a great day.
Well, because you know, and the whole reason I'm asking, of course, is because the running joke from last year was that the bottle of Malart would still be around.
It's still around
for the next show.
I assure you, that bottle of Malort will be. There has not been a drop imbibed from that bottle since our show.
So here's the thing, though. So we all have to make an agreement. This has to be a pact. Michael, I know you're not a huge drinker, so like, well, maybe you are when you go to the National. I don't know.
By not huge, I've never tasted alcohol.
Okay, so there you go. And
so really not huge.
I was kind of leaning towards that. The only rule is that bottle only leaves Chicago empty.
Oh my god, dude!
I'll take a shot.
I don't think you.
But,
you all right, Steve?
No, we.
I don't think you realize what you're agreeing to here. I know what you're proposing. I don't think you realize this. Like, there will be vomiting. You will vomit. There will be multiple people vomiting.
The bottle has to be signed, though, is what I'm getting at.
Yes, I like that.
And it can't be signed by the people who drank from it until it's empty.
Okay, fair enough. I also I just had an idea for the people that will not be drinking alcohol. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna find something equally as disgusting without alcohol in it. So we can do this together. And those of us who are drinking, we're going to drink that too with the people who aren't drinking so that they will have an equally terrible, fun experience.
And an equal opportunity to vomit.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, the only stipulation is that you have to come hang with the crew.
I will. I'm
not worried about you. I'm not worried about you.
Definitely will. Okay.
Ed's like, I'll take a shot. Well, that means you got to come hang.
Last year was an absolute blast. I had so much fun. My only regrets were I didn't get to hang with you guys for longer. I only got the one night.
Yep.
And I didn't get to give Ed a Malort shot. Those are my two regrets. That will haunt me.
So Ed, because we'll be staying at the same place. I mean, that's the plan. Michael will be joining us next year in Chicago, barring any change in other plans that may occur.
We'll find you something gross to drink, Mike. We're gonna find you something gross to drink. Don't worry.
He was going to be there last year, but the plan is still 2 rooms. We'll figure out a place to stick everybody. I know Joe's got to try and work some magic potentially, but if not, he knows he has a place to crash. Regardless.
What do you mean magic? What is this magic?
We're trying to get another OG to come. Working on that. But Ed, the only stipulation is, if that's the case, you have to come hang. And
yeah,
and
also
you have to pass out on the floor.
Exactly. Like if you come to hang out, and the Malort comes out, like you're staying the night. You're not leaving.
The only thing that sucks is this place. How far away is this place? How far is the compound?
It's an hour.
It's about 2 to 3
convention center.
2 to 3 business days.
It's an hour from the convention center. It's an hour, a little over an hour from the convention center.
I'll tell you what, the commitment to drink Malort is higher than the commitment to drive out there. All right.
Yeah,
suck it up.
Because that Joe liked it. Like Joe was the only one who liked it.
There's always one person who is like, that wasn't that bad. Yeah. Like I have gotten to the point that I don't hate it.
The Canadian.
I didn't say I liked it. I just said
no,
I can tolerate it.
He said that wasn't that bad.
It wasn't as bad as I was expecting.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody needs to go watch the video from last year of the Malart shot.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
What Joe says. Throw the flag. We'll have to go to the replay.
Joe. Well, the thing is, also Joe's a very chill guy. He's just like, yeah, that wasn't as bad as I was expecting. We're like, oh!
And it builds, and it builds.
It really does,
and it builds.
Even if you don't hate it, it really does.
Oh God! But it was an experience, and that's something that we talked about leading into Chicago last year. It was hanging out, doing the Malart shot, opening the freaking junk trunks was not to take away from all the other experiences, but that was definitely one of the highlights of Chicago last year was that night.
That was so much fun, man. That was such a good time. Speaking of, I'll be right back. I gotta tap off.
No worries. So yeah, it's no commitment yet, Ed. We're not asking for a commitment, but if you're down for the pain, then yeah.
Ed is center square right now. That's a lot of responsibility, so he needs to live up to it.
This is true. Well,
Joe's definitely going to be spoiled from his accommodations this year. He had his own personal bathroom. He had his own pool table.
Yeah, he had his own personal bathroom in Chicago too, technically, because he roomed by himself.
Yeah, I had like a basement apartment this time, and all those guys were upstairs.
Yeah, nobody except Ed and Joe were watching the IRP that night. It was everybody else was glossing it over. We tried to be spread, but
I made sure to give my mandatory shout out for the Vitro, so people will get amongst it.
Well, and if you get a chance, Ed, like I did make an opportunity. I did finally make a comment on the video as the IRP. So, I mean, I watched it on like as me, but I couldn't very well make a comment as me, so I had to, I had to do it as the IRP. But,
Here it is. That's what we did in one night.
so
That's not
almost
a
half
lot.
the bottle. Almost half
We
the bottle.
we did a good job. I looking at this now, we can safely do this in a night with a group.
Well, and since we didn't have shot glasses, they were free pours. There were some bigger than others.
Oh yeah.
I think you and Joe got the bigger shots, anyways, because like you've had the experience before.
I think I did too.
By the way, this is so random, but is your boy Little PP69 going to be at the National next year?
I'll try to get him out there. I would say there's like a 50-50 shot. He lives in Louisville.
Friggin' sweet.
Dude. He I bet he'll be out. He came out last year, but it was just for one day.
And the one day you probably weren't there, right?
Yeah, I caught him at the show just for lunch, and then he hit the road. He just drove out for like one day. I wasn't there, then left the next day.
Yeah, because I mean, you were there Friday, and stayed with the crew Friday night, and then ended up, spent a little bit of time at the show on Saturday, but then you
I had to go to work.
go do your thing.
I could not tell you how excited I am that it's going to be in Chicago 3 years in a row. Like, dude.
Yep. Yep, that's what it was voted on last year in Chicago. So,
It seems like the dealers really like Chicago. It makes sense. Like, there's more people walking through. I'm sure they make more money there.
everything is condensed. Everything is right there. The bulk of the hotels are there. But, it's – and Ed, if you can remember when we talked last year, because you were kind of on the fence about Chicago last year. And part of it had to do with your accommodations of where you would stay. And, when we talked, it was like, if you need a place to crash, we got you. It'll cost you nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it's one of those in which, like, I don't want to cram, 30 people into two spaces by any stretch of the imagination to save cash. But, there's still enough room to accommodate enough people to where you don't feel like you're potentially cramped. Potentially. But on the flip side, because like I know you guys did the Airbnb again, or you did the Airbnb last year too.
The Airbnb this year was incredible, though. Like, seriously, 5 stars. It was great.
I get it. I mean,
it was a really nice setup.
place.
But the Airbnb in Chicago, that is a different story entirely.
Well, I mean, you get some lemons from time to time.
It was fun, though. It was fun and memorable. I look back and laugh about it.
And here's the thing, like, anybody's free to do whatever they want. It's one of those in which I'm just putting the options out there. You know what I mean? It's like at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt anybody's feelings what anybody chooses or decides to do. But at the same time, it is an option if you're up for it.
And I appreciate that 100%.
Like we wouldn't make the offer for just anybody. I mean, take that for what it's worth. Like we wouldn't.
I can't invite Dave's best friend.
No.
You could, but he'd probably politely decline to go with Eric and Garrett. I don't think who else was in Canadian card. Mike.
We could make his bed up in the dumpster outside the place.
Can you guys fill me in on the YouTube drama? I'm out of the loop. What's the latest?
There isn't any.
That's
really.
not. Yeah, there really isn't any.
Well, we
I
need to start
know.
some.
I know. Mr. Funnel and Jug is gone to like almost membership exclusive for his to watch his videos.
Really? He was here.
He was where?
He was in the comments.
Awesome.
Wait, what?
I'm confused.
It's okay.
Somebody's gonna have to fill me
Yeah.
in.
No. Well, hold on.
I think I know who you're talking about, but
Yeah, but that reminds me.
Yeah.
Who are the big swingers these days? What's like a good what's a good respectable subscriber count these days?
fucking fine now.
Where do you at,
2,000 or
Ed?
more.
Where do you at, Ed? Come on, pull it up. What's your live count? That's what this is all about. It's all about
I think I'm.
Garbage?
Am I asleep?
Garbage?
I'm not asleep.
2,100, I think.
dang. Dude, I don't think
Yeah,
I
but
feel comfortable being in the same live stream as someone with 2K subs.
Well, we had Steve Purple GT on a couple weeks ago, and he just hit 2,000.
I wouldn't be comfortable if he was here. That would make me uncomfortable. That's what it's all about. It's how many subscribers you have. Right? Right, Dave?
Said absolutely nobody more.
Correct.
Said this guy right here. All right.
So let's face it. So like Dave, me, Michael, and Vinny don't even total 2,000.
I can't be on the same stream as you guys. All right.
Okay, we may total.
I'm gonna have to leave.
3,000.
I just looked for the first time ever because I had never looked at how many subscribers I had. It's 434, and I get 7 views a video.
I'm just under 9, I think. Last time I checked, and I averaged under 40 views. So,
And that's 7 as a single digit, not
Have,
7.
have you worked on your thumbnails? Like
no.
put the card up?
Do I need to paint them like Caleb Williams?
I don't think people. Well,
Hey,
the weird face.
come on. Just let us have something nice. It's not gonna work out. He's gonna bust. But just let us feel like we're gonna have something nice. Like we can't even have anything that we're pretending is nice. Come on. Just let what you know is gonna happen play out and then make fun of us afterwards. All right?
But
How
you
did
don't
feel?
know.
How did you feel about his contract requests?
I felt great about it. He's
They were
gonna
pretty
be
special.
he's gonna
He
be
wanted his manicurist to be hired on as a coach
so
and a member of the staff.
full disclosure, I grew up in the Chicago area, and when I was like 8, I want to say, my dad had a bunch of friends over. This is like mid 90s, and like Brett Favre days, and Packers were.
You said the
kicking
name
shit out.
wrong.
Favre, sorry. And so I was like 8 or 9, and my dad and his friends, it's Chicago, they're all root for the Bears. And I said, why do we root for the Bears when the green team always wins? And my dad goes, because that's the Packers. We don't like the Packers. And I said, I like the Packers. And he's like, no, you don't. And I said, I like the Packers, and that number 4 is my favorite player. And I'll give my dad a lot of credit for this. I asked for a Packers starter jacket that Christmas, and he bought it for me. He did. So I grew up a Packers fan in Chicago. Looking back now, it all makes sense. I was a little shit. Like, I was just a little shit, but I grew up a diehard Packers fan. So long story short, now I'm the only person on earth that is either a fan of the Packers or Bears that doesn't hate the other team. Like, it doesn't bother me when the Packers do well. I wouldn't say I would outwardly root for them, but I don't know. Like, Brett Favre's my favorite player ever. Ever. And I'm from Chicago. It doesn't make any sense, right?
One of my really good friends, he's a lifelong Bears fan. Favre was his favorite player.
All right. We exist.
No.
Well,
Damn, even Michael said his name wrong.
Just for context, though, too, Mark. So Michael is a Green Bay fan.
I know.
I think
I
he
mean,
can see my
I
hat.
put
I
it,
am on
I
video.
put it together from the Caleb Williams fan, or the Caleb Williams fingernail comments and the Packers hat. I really enjoyed all the shit talking online about the Jordan Love contract. And somebody was like, all the Bears fans making fun of Jordan Love getting this contract, they don't realize that Jordan Love would have, if he was on the Bears, he would have had like the greatest season for a quarterback in Bears history. And they're talking crap. All right,
I think there's
Dukes.
It is an insane amount of money.
It is, but they have room. They have cap space.
It's 4 years.
They have a lot of cap space still.
If it all goes to hell, it's only 4 years. It's not a 7 or 8 year contract.
Stuke's comment about the Vikings, like, I hate the Vikings. That's like the team I hate. I hate the Vikings.
So does Dave, and he lives in Minnesota. So, like,
you know what? I bet I know why he hates the Vikings, because it's probably for the same reason. When I found myself around Vikings fans, like at my first job, randomly, like half the people were Vikings fans. I didn't have an opinion on the Vikings, like whatever. But hearing these people talking about football, oh my God, dude, it made me hate them so much. Like anything the Vikings did that was good, they would like rub it in your face and they would talk trash and all this stuff. The Vikings are going to win the Super Bowl this year, all this junk, whatever. And that was the year Blair Walsh missed that field goal. And I was at work and it was on downstairs and there was a Vikings fan next to me. And I said, hey man, like the game's almost over. Like I can cover your spot if you want to go watch it. And he's like, nah, that's okay. And like we knew kind of what the situation was. And everyone started screaming downstairs. And someone came up and they were like, Blair Walsh just shanked the field goal. The Vikings lost. And this guy who had been talking shit all year about how good the Vikings are, he does a 180 and he goes, I knew they were going to blow it. No, you can't all. Oh, yeah.
You can't have it both ways.
Of course he did. Yeah. Only an idiot would. Of course he's going to choke. Of course we were going to lose. Like, no, you've been talking trash all year. The biggest, whiniest bunch of sports fans I've ever been around, dude.
Are you sure you're not talking about Dallas fans?
Oh, I mean, everybody hates Dallas. Like,
Yeah.
I live in North Texas, and I hate the Cowboys. So
yeah, for the same reason. They act like their team is like a superpower, has like a superpower, and then they lose, and then, oh, woe is me. Of course we lost, huh? You can't have it both ways, dude. Just own it. Just be like, yeah, we suck.
Oh, I've said it many a times on here. You know, I don't go to a lot of games. One, because it's too fucking expensive. I mean, it's $100 to park.
Jerry
For
World.
one, right? And it's welcome to the home of the 5 Super Bowls. And it's like, dude, you haven't won one in the last 30 years. Shut
America's team. America hates you.
Okay, 30 years, that's a bit of a stretch. I mean, it was the 90s, but still.
America
it's like,
hates
dude,
you.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah. That's why I'm
Same
a
with the
White Sox
National. The National will probably be there one day. It's getting so big, it's going to have to go to Jerry World.
fan. That's why I'm a White Sox fan. Like, we just take it just constantly, and we take it with a smile. And we make fun of ourselves.
You got Hawk Harrelson now.
Do we? Because he got fired.
Yeah.
And then we got another announcer that Jason Benetti dorky guy from Chicago, huge White Sox fan, incredible announcer, and he's like, "Yo, can I get a contract extension?" And they're like, "Nah." And the Tigers, fellow AL Central team, is like, "Hey, you're like one of the best announcers in the country. We'll pay you way more. Come over here." And he's like, "All right. Hey, can you match this?" And the White Sox are like, "Nah." It's man. Any of you following the White Sox this year? Any of you seen what they've been up to recently?
Not much.
Yeah, they're on pace to have the worst record.
How
They
many
just
games
traded
under,
away a bunch of their guys.
How many games under 500 do you think they are? The All-Star break just happened. How many games under 500 do you think they
40,
are?
isn't it?
What's
40.
it? 40? Those are rookie numbers. They're like 53 games under 500. They just broke their all-time record. They've been around since 1901. They just broke their all-time record for losses in a row. They've lost 15 in a row. As a matter of fact, a couple of minutes ago, a big White Sox fan friend of mine, he said, "I just threw $200 on the Sox to lose. They're up 2-1. Money in the bank."
Oh, that's cold blooded.
And it happened because the Royals came back and won 4-3.
Wait, they did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God. Thank
Awesome.
fucking God you did not buy that Eloy Jimenez PSA 10
They
at the
traded him.
2021
Yeah, he
National.
got traded today.
You came
They
so
traded
close
him
to
for
buying
nothing.
that.
Yeah.
I think
know.
I talked you out of it. I was like, don't fucking buy that, please.
I think you did. You were right.
Then I got Filmington to come over, and he said, don't buy it either. He was
I listened
good
to you guys. I didn't
good
buy it.
cop, bad cop.
Bad cop, bad cop. I'm looking up at my wall of my best cards here. There's a lot of sadness up there. Yeah. Yeah. That's okay.
But the question is, though, at the end of the day, do you like what you have?
I really do. I like looking up here. I really like it.
That's all that matters.
Nobody. Let's say I like randomly bundled up my cards and like sent them to someone, a collector. They would open it up and be like, "What the hell is this?" There's like no congruity. Like this doesn't make any sense. Why is there an entire row of Joey Votto cards? That doesn't make any sense. Why is there a CC Sabathia card? Although that was a good buy. That was a good
Future
one.
Hall of Famer. Future Hall of Famer.
I wish when I felt really strongly about somebody that I like went all in on them, like CC Sabathia. I was like, the prices of these cards doesn't make any sense. And so what I did was I bought one. So now I have a bunch of Votto and Garrett Cole cards. That's like it's the one time I've ever like. It's like, okay, in the past I've seen these prices that don't make sense. I'm gonna load up on them and hopefully gonna profit, and then I can buy like PC cards I wouldn't have been able to purchase otherwise. So Votto and Garrett Cole, those are my two dudes.
Love Votto.
You should be able to sell one of each and buy any White Sox card you want.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm hoping.
Multiple White Sox cards of players that he wants.
Well, yeah. Except for Shoeless Show. That's like my big hobby regret, man. Looking at Shoeless Show cards like 4 years ago, and it's like, geez, $900 for a card. That's crazy. That's my dream. I've learned that's my dream is buying a Shoeless Show playing days card, but it's not going to happen. That's okay. That's fine.
never
Anything
know.
can happen, Mark. Anything can happen.
That's true. Anything can happen, and anything can happen too. So you never know.
Well, that is true. I mean, there is the positive and negative outlook on things, but
Yeah. I will say, if I ever do buy a Shoeless Show card, I will specifically, even if like a great opportunity comes up online, I'm going to wait to be at the National with friends, and I'm going to buy it because that will be so much more satisfying.
unless that actually doesn't help you in the event that it sells prior to.
I don't care. This is my fantasy, okay? And
I
you
get
guys
it,
are
Mark.
gonna lift me on your shoulders and carry me out, and everyone's gonna cheer, and I'm gonna wave the cart around. All right. This is my fantasy. All right.
Will there be
I
a
think
hip
I'm-
hip hooray chant?
Yeah. Hip hip hooray! For he's a jolly good fellow.
I
Talking
think
about
I think I may be busy that year.
No, you'll be there. You'll be there.
You already know specifically who's going to be there, right? Like you've already had this fantasy, this dream. You already.
I
know who's
I haven't fleshed it out, but you guys will be there. All right. And then Bob's gonna rip it out of my hands and run away and reach up, and I'm gonna impotently jump and try to grab it. And he's like, "Oh, can't get it, can't get it."
and then I'll be like, stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Yeah, exactly. See, all right, it's all coming into view now.
after a half bottle of Malart. There may not be carrying anybody on shoulders after that, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Just throwing
Fall
that
down.
out there.
And if this doesn't happen in the next, I don't know, few years, I don't think I'll be lifting much over anybody's head, especially mine. So unless you're gonna bring back supporters with us.
No, we're gonna all be very old. All right,
Okay.
it's not happening anytime soon.
There'll need to be at least 20 people involved then at that point.
You'll still be able to hold it too high for me to get it, though. You'll just be shaking. Oh,
Because Bob Lewis is tall.
Like the Geico commercial, yeah. I think. Here's the Jojo.
you gotta be quicker than that.
Ay.
All right, I'm doing it. I'm just gonna have a splash.
Oh shit!
Just a splash.
Small splash.
I'll save
A
it.
little
Now.
more than that. Come on.
No, I gotta save. Wait, who said that?
I did.
I like how you said Bob and Ed said I did. No, I have to save it for the national.
Come on, man. A little more.
You haven't had it yet. You don't
Yeah.
understand. You don't
You
understand.
don't.
Make them big.
Stings the nostrils.
Pungent. 60% of the time it works every time.
It's not that bad. Right, Joe?
Yeah. That's not what your face is saying.
It's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Oh,
My head is shiny, dude.
Famous
All of
last
a
words.
What's going on here?
Oh shit!
The Malart.
What if I just started projectile vomiting right now?
That'd be one hell of a live stream.
That would be the second best live stream ever. You
What-
instantly knew.
What is interesting though, Mark, and this has been some time ago. Randomly on YouTube, and after searching through my subscriptions and stuff, and adding shit to my watch later, click on the home screen just to see what other shit just randomly is suggested.
Yeah.
And I stumble across a video of some dude who has a bottle of Malart.
Uh-oh.
And, the start of the video talks about how he's heard about it and all this other kind of stuff and all this other kind of garbage. And he takes a shot. And I immediately went back to Chicago on Friday night as he's sitting there talking, oh, damn. Oh, shit. Yeah, that builds.
Acid
Oh,
flashback,
oh, that's bad. And I'm going, somebody should have seriously, either you didn't listen or you thought somebody was bullshitting you or not.
I told you, dude. I told you it was bad.
Is there any verbiage on the bottle? Like any
Yes.
like
Yes, there is.
is it
Dude, I gotta give him props for this little write up here. Jeppson's Malort has the aroma and full-bodied flavor of an unusual botanical. And this sentence here is, its bitter taste is savored by two-fisted drinkers. That's so good. Its bitter taste is savored by two-fisted drinkers.
Yeah, said absolutely fucking nobody.
I told you. Well, you're just not a two-fisted drinker. You're a one-fisted drinker, dude. I told you they had. There was a guy who used to make fun of them on social media, and somebody bought out this distillery, and they're like, "We're gonna lean into this, like it's a joke." And they had a slogan contest a few years ago, and I want to say the guy that won, they hired him as their social media director, and they're like, just keep making fun of us just on our account. And the winning slogan was Malort, tastes like the day Dad left. I think their current slogan is how to unfriend someone in real life. That's pretty funny.
It can't be that bad.
No, next year.
You're gonna have to come hang with us, Ed, because like.
Oh, he's gonna hang with us. Don't worry. That'll be there.
Oh,
That'll be there.
Even with all the warnings that Mark told us.
oh, he drank another one.
Thank you for noticing, Ed. I try to do that indiscreetly.
Quit spoiling it, Mark. You're gonna kill the bottle.
I'm not gonna drink anymore. Trust me, that is enough for us to have a good.
It does look like vinegar.
That's enough for us to have a bad time. Ed, this stuff is pretty powerful. I bet you can like smell it from here. Take a deep breath.
I smell the botanicals from here.
Yeah, savored by two-fisted drinkers. I'm telling you, I'm gonna find some disgusting stuff for us non-drinkers to drink. No one's gonna escape this. I'm gonna start right now.
Yeah, it's bad enough.
Right now.
Like I think I ended up drinking half my beer after taking that shot, and it still didn't matter.
Yeah, nothing.
What, does it stay on you for a while?
Oh yes, it builds. Like you can't express it in words, but you take it and you're like, ooh, okay, yeah. And then all of a sudden, like out of the middle of nowhere, you're sitting there going, oh shit, like really?
That's a new flavor. Oh, that's a shitty. Oh, fuck. Where'd that come from? Yeah, it's no.
Yeah, it's an experience. That's all I can say.
I'm already working on this. I'm gonna find something disgusting for us non-drinkers to drink.
Well, wait a minute. I'll ask Bob. Bob, when you took the shot of Malort and you ate cereal afterwards, could you still taste the nice confection of Captain Crunch? Or did it alter the flavor?
I was already really drunk when I had it, so I don't even remember it.
Because of it,
I know. I think I had the same reaction, but
if it changes the flavor of Captain Crunch and Raisin Bran, I might not want to fuck with this stuff.
Oh no! You can't touch the Captain. Nothing will change the Captain for me.
Apparently, there's a flaming hot Mountain Dew. This is a front runner right now for me.
So it's one of those in which we didn't consume enough to have it come back out. So
yeah, it didn't come back out.
Yeah, it was one and done.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I don't think I've ever thrown up from Malort, but I probably have indirectly.
But you might be immune.
I'm not immune, dude. You cannot build immunity to this.
No.
I'm
what
sure
Millard
there's
will do.
probably I'm sure there's probably people out there that if that's their choice beverage.
Oh man, I just remembered a time that I did throw up from alert. So I was at a bar in Milwaukee, and has anyone heard of a game called Bar Dice?
No.
No, I think it's a Milwaukee
Nope.
thing. So it's basically like Yahtzee, but you like play against the bartender, and then whoever loses has to buy a round of shots, and the losses come frequently, and they're like, "All right, what are you buying? Okay, what are you having?" And the bartender will drink with you, and I thought it would be funny being from Chicago to pick Malort on purpose.
Oh,
And I remember it was like my fifth shot in like an hour. And I looked at the bartender and I was like, "What's the record of Malort shots you've ever seen?" And I remember this clearly, even though everything after happened hazy. She goes, "I don't know. One guy, he does a ton of them. I've seen him do like 10." And I said, "Can you do me a favor and just say the record's 5?" And she's like, "Record's 5." And I was like, "There's a new champ in town," and I shoot it down. And then I was like, "I need to order an Uber," and then I puked at home. So I've definitely from a lot.
You got Millarded.
I did. Malarded myself.
Mark,
did you
what's
get
the
a T-shirt
percentage?
or anything for breaking the record?
What's that, Joe?
What's the percentage of alcohol on that bottle?
It's not that high.
Joe asking the serious questions.
35. 70 proof.
That's not high at all.
Okay, Ed, calm down, dude. You're gonna be dry even in the wastebasket. All right.
It's like a liqueur.
The thing is, by itself, like it's not gonna get you extremely drunk if you just have a decent amount. But if you're already drunk and you take a bunch of shots of it, you're toast, dude. You're done. It's over. It's game over.
I think I'd rather enjoy a nice chocolate cake shake.
Why not both?
Yeah.
You do that at lunch though. When we go to what will become the annual tradition of going to Portobello's.
All right, I just figured it out. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring a flask of Malort. I'm gonna get another bottle on the side to not this. The next sip from this will be next year at the National, at the house. I'm gonna get a separate bottle and I'm gonna fill a flask. We're gonna drink it at Portobello's, Ed.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
I know about it, and it's gonna happen.
They serve alcohol there.
They do. They don't serve Malort there, but I do. I'm gonna bring like a collapsible shot glass. Be like, "All right, Ed, who's the big man?" I gotta find some disgusting non-alcoholic stuff. This is gonna be great.
That's probably
Let's get like
about right.
Yeah.
Carlos.
Carlos,
Pickle juice.
that is exactly right. I could totally see Ed yelling out, "I am the Lizard King." Hey, Carlos, how many subscribers are you up to nowadays? That's a good metric.
A lot more than all of us.
Exactly. I want to see what a big YouTuber looks like these days. I'm out of the loop.
I think
Bob,
he has
what are
more
you
than
up to?
all of us combined.
Yeah.
What are you up to, Bob?
I think I'm down to
What?
like 734 maybe. That's when I look.
All right. I like how you threw out such a specific number. Well,
I feel like
734
I've checked
minutes ago.
Dude, I was in the kitchen making cereal, and I hear from the living room my dad watching like old like collection videos from like when I first started in 2018. Cards that have long been gone from my collection. He's like, oh yeah, that he may or may not be aware of. Some of them have like been divested into other things. But yeah, it's like, Dad, come on, man. Like, and just hearing, I mean, we've all made videos started at some point, and then the videos that you made in the beginning compared to like once you get a little more comfortable or develop like a personality of sorts. It's so Stove, we did that, like watching like Pepino Man early videos or like it come up the egg. They're very like, we know what they are like now, but watching early stuff. So it's like, it happens to us all though. So like just hearing myself trying to be like very informative and like, it was very cringeworthy.
I just want to know who would unsubscribe from Bob Lewis. Like, you're a piece of shit. Throw that out there.
Well, he doesn't make videos. He makes one a year.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's just part of like a cleanup.
You need to stay subscribed so that you see his yearly video.
I was going to say that Bob makes one video a year. It's not constantly getting flooded in your feed with all the stupid shit. I mean, when you make that video, it's fun to watch. It's go time.
I may make another video in the next few months.
Bob, I think we should do a collab video.
We should. I talked to Egg recently. He said if you guys ever do the podcast again, he'd be willing to come on to like and promote it. I
gotta say, sorry, go ahead, Bob.
Well, he was just saying, or we could just keep making like teaser trailer videos and never do a video, but just keep teasing that like it's coming back. Pretty much what we've done the last 3 times.
I was gonna say we've already done that. Dude, I gotta say, when me and Bob, we had Egg on for a podcast, dude.
It's like a 10-second delay or something.
There was this giant delay. It's like on paper, it's like me, Bob, and Egg. Like, this is gonna be a great time, dude. It was so uncomfortable.
We would ask him a question, and then there'd be like this long pause. We'd be just like, okay, on to the next question. As we start asking the second question, he starts answering the first question.
Dude, it got so uncomfortable, I literally started sweating. I was like, this is so bad. Oh, man. And then, like, he would have, like, a great, like, one-liner, but it would, like, interrupt me and Bob, who started talking because he wasn't talking. And then we finally figured out, like, hey, what's going on here? Like, there's a giant delay. Oh, man, dude. I'm getting uncomfortable just thinking about it. That was so bad, dude.
Well, it's funny, though, man. It's so funny.
I'm so glad it happened.
And then people think, like, we do stuff like that on purpose to, like... No. Like, no, it's all these happy accidents that we can laugh about years later.
Well, we also laughed about it like right after the Hobby Palooza disaster.
The Hobby Palooza was the greatest thing ever.
Dude, when I edited that video, there was tears coming down my face. I was laughing so hard because it was such a disaster. Like, Baseball Collector is like, oh yeah, Bob and Mark, they're like the quirky guys. Like, it'll be fun or whatever. And it was just a total disaster. It was so bad.
That's still the best.
The moment I look at the clock and say, how much long? Like, I can't do this for another 45 minutes. And it's black screen for however long it was. But the comments during that black screen were legendary.
Ed was there in the comments. I remember when I was.
That is still the best Hobby Palooza video of all time. Easily.
Hey, fun fact. Me and Bob, despite the fact that, we're basically out of the YouTube community. Mike,
Hall of Famers, dude. We're never out.
That's true. Yeah. Mike,
Yeah, once you go in, you can't come out.
Mike invited us last year to do Hobby Palooza. And part of me wishes we would have done it because we probably would have rivaled the debacle we're referring to. But I had to bail at the last minute. Like, me and Bob were like, dude, what the hell are we going to do? Like, we don't. Like, Hobby Palooza, you know, we can't handle a live stream with, like, I don't know, a few hundred people. Like, we're not going to do this. And then I think Mike realized, okay, these guys, like, they're not on our level.
Yeah.
So, fine. That's
I
I
don't
think the
we'll get
greatest
into that
tragedy,
next year.
the greatest tragedy in YouTube community history was when the soundboard went 86. You got to bring that
Yeah.
soundboard back.
I mean,
don't
it's
care
still
what
here.
it takes. I don't care what
It's-
resources you got.
Dude, it's here. There's certain things, and I can't say too much here. There's certain sound clips I'm not allowed to play anymore.
Well, you've been given edicts by particulars, and that it's in your best interest not to play them, or
Yeah. Well, I mean,
As
there's certain things I'm legally not allowed to play anymore. All right.
as long as you still have
I have
Big
them all,
Boy
dude.
on there.
Oh yeah.
From the
Hey,
hype man.
you have a bunch on there, dude. Don't worry.
And as long as you have Card Dreamers Laugh on there, which, by the way, I don't know whatever happened to him. He left.
When I see Brown,
When I see Brown, I get excited. I think that's one of my.
The joys of comments out of context.
I saw Brown, and when I see Brown, I get excited.
Just like Bob talking about filling holes.
what was Ed had one about? Well, it was from the Gabe Kapler video, I'm pretty sure. And it was,
King Coconut.
but no, I know there was something about like that bitch or something, or
Yeah.
Slow roll this bitch.
Well, I'm gonna slow
slow
roll.
roll this
Yeah.
bitch. That's a slow roll this bitch.
I have that, dude. I'm looking.
Don't
right
walk.
There
Run.
was a time period where I kept sending Mark videos to clip of specific sounds. I'm like,
Did that-
please, from the 2-minute mark to the 2:05 mark, clip this and put it on the soundboard.
The death of the soundboard is solely my responsibility, right? And you
Hey,
sent
boy.
me a bunch of good stuff. But that's the thing. Like when I ask, what's the drama in the YouTube community, and you guys are like, nothing. It's like, what? There's nothing. There's no notable.
Not
What
okay,
about
so-
those?
So
All right,
not
go
that
ahead.
not that any of us are aware of. There could be. There's usually always drama, but nothing that we've been informed of, I would say.
What about those douchebag brothers, Sports Card Radio? What are they up to?
Your cousins.
What?
They're still getting like 500 plus people on a live stream chat. I noticed that the other day.
That's pretty much all they've been doing lately is live streams.
Yeah.
They haven't
Rolex,
done many
Tesla,
videos.
Tesla, Rolex.
It's a Rolex.
It's a. I've
It's
never.
Tesla. It's Tesla.
See, there you go. That's been pretty much the extent of the last bit of drama over the last few years. That everybody has somewhat talked about.
I have a funny story about what Abel's talking about. What's up, Abel? By the way.
Was that a Kyle Lewis? That was the carding controversy, wasn't it? A Kyle Lewis rookie because he had like hit a couple of home runs that week and everybody was upset.
So fun fact about that. I had texted. I was probably texting Bob, to be honest. I can't think of who else I would have texted about it. But
Well, you don't ever respond to anything in our group chat, so like you would only
Dude.
be conversing with Bob.
all right, join the club. All right, I basically dropped off the face of the earth. All right. Don't take offense, everyone.
I don't.
Okay. So I had texted Bob about that situation. I remember vividly where I was. I was at my buddy's house, and all hell was breaking loose from Mike burning that card. And I tried to text Bob about it, and I wasn't paying attention. I think I had a few drinks or whatever, and I get a text back, and I see that Mike himself texted me, and I was like, "What the hell?" And I see that the text I meant to send to Bob, I sent it to Mike. It was like, yeah. It was like, dude, I think he realized he fucked up. Like all this. And he's like, did you mean to send this to someone else? I'm like, hey, how's it going?
It's hard to come back from that.
I probably never told you about that, Bob. I don't think I did.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
You know what? I get along with Mike. I understand all the whatever. Personally, though, I get along with him.
Yeah.
There was no fist thrown in Chicago.
No, we're not.
I was afraid that Dave and him were gonna break the internet.
They did. They did break the internet. That was the Berlin Wall coming down, dude.
No, it still worked.
That was the only regret I have is that people around didn't realize how significant an event it was. Dave and Mike to take a picture.
Oh, I realized.
Well, it was the single picture of Dave and him, and then we had the group shot.
That was incredible. That was amazing.
And the bulk of the people who were in the group shot weren't pleased with what had transpired.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, and we always talk about this, it's one of those in which you can really despise or hate somebody, but in a situation like that, you can be cordial.
Right.
Like,
and so
that was like the community's version of the Potsdam Conference. That's what that was like.
Potsdam Conference. My thing is this. It's like, okay, if you took, let's just say I grabbed 1,000 random people and I asked, how many of you are interested in sports cards? How many do you think would say yes? Like, I want an answer from each of you.
1%.
1,000 people?
1%.
You think 100 people out of 1,000? I'd say more like 50.
1%.
He said
10 people?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say like 15. Maybe.
What? Okay, so what is interest? Like actively
involved here. This is
like what is interested in? Meaning like they have maybe like some cards from the 80s that they collected, or are they still like actively?
I take 1,000 random people and I just say, are you interested in sports cards? That's a question.
Oh, okay.
They don't have to like prove it by saying like,
interesting.
Oh, this and this.
I would say between 50 and 100, and it's all random people. So you're good. No, it's probably more between 25 and 50. Because if 300 or even half are ladies, I would think that would be a big knock. So then we're dealing with 5 or 6.
Yeah, basically every lady's going to say no. So
right. So if that's so I would say probably like 25.
I think I think 25 to 75 is a safe answer, and I haven't done this study before, but my point is that if you have this like very niche interest that you have, it's like, hey, like, yeah, there's going to be differences, of of course, but it's like we share a common interest that is like very rare. It's very uncommon. You know what I mean? Where it's like you might be a very different person to me, very different background, very different personality or whatever. But we have the common thing here that brings us together that like very few people have. You know what I mean? And I think that's what the community. That's why it's so cool when everybody says it when they meet people in person. It's like, oh, there's this great connection. It's not awkward, you know. And that's because we have this common ground that like so few people have. It's like super uncommon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my point. Is that we all have more similarities than differences. You know what I mean? That's not to say we're all the same type of person, because we all know here that that's completely not true. Like there's very different personalities, but I don't know. I think that's cool. And I think that's why ultimately the National is such a cool event, is because when you meet these people in person, it's like it's fun. It's a good time.
Until you drink Balort.
Until you drink Balort. And then it's a great time.
But at the same time, it's meeting them for the first time. Like you said, though, it's not an awkward thing. You've been friends for so long.
Or not friends, but you know of the person.
That too. But you're like-minded in the fact that we all collect cards. There are some douche nozzles out there, let's face it. But in those situations, 99.99% of the time, like you can remain in the same space and there's no issues.
Right.
So
the thing is,
we all know what it's like to score a card at a show that we've been chasing for a while, or like getting something in a pack, or finding a deal that like finding some kind of a $10 card in a $1 box, whether you made the purchase or not. But
and
like,
literally nobody cares but us. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. No matter how big of a card. Hey, I got a Mickey Mantle rookie card. Nobody cares. You know what I mean?
Which would be the 52 tops, right?
Is it that or the 51 Bowman? I always forget.
I don't know.
It's
I
the
think it's a
Balmain.
1952, actually.
What's that, Ed?
It's the 1951 Balmain.
Bauman.
Bowman. Yeah, I think it's the Bowman.
Remember that shit?
Bowman.
which one has the facsimile on it?
That's the Bowman, I believe. And that's the thing, like, going back, so, like, you talk about douche nozzles, right? That's the thing that bothers me, are the people that try to, like, posturize, and they try to be, like, hard asses, or, like, be braggy about this. It's like, dude, you have this group of people on YouTube, or elsewhere, whatever. These are the only people on Earth that are gonna share in your excitement, and you're gonna be a douche about it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so you want to alienate the only people on Earth that could possibly be excited about this. And
So you're saying if somebody asks me how many cards of a certain player I have in my collection, and I say 3, and they followed up with I have 11, that's kind of a douchey thing.
I'm gonna have to text you about this one. I gotta. Yeah, that's.
Why text? Why text?
Yeah, Bob. Who are you talking about? Lay the names out. Who's the player? Okay.
I wasn't going that far, Mark. I wasn't going that far, Mark.
Roberto Clemente.
So it's Roberto Clemente. I was just gonna say.
And first interaction, by the way. So.
But here's the other thing. It's not just.
Oh, I gotta know who did that.
Oh,
It's not
we've already
just-
talked about it.
It's not just that type of situation.
Bob, check your
It's-
phone.
He's on it. It's also
That's all right.
it's also those that portray something
hold on
in
one second.
video compared to what they are in real life. I think that bothers me more is people who actually sit there and portray one thing when they're the complete opposite.
I think
What do you
Bob's
mean?
frozen.
He is. It
He did
happens
it on
all the
purpose.
time.
He did
It
it on
happens all the
purpose.
time.
He did it on purpose. All right, this is a throwback. This is a throwback to the disaster stream.
Well, no, it happens every time he tries to
I know,
send a
but
text message. Somebody needs to screenshot that face though. that partial smile.
I'm back, baby.
Hold on one second.
Don't send him another text message, Mark.
Are you kidding? All right, guys, I figured out who it was, but I'm not going to share with the class.
You had a good guess, Mark. You that's on.
I felt stupid.
That cut has never been released, I don't think, and that might be some of your best unseen work for sure.
Hold on one second. Oh man.
All right, we got to spill some beans. Dave, wrap us up so we can go into after hours. Let's share some shit.
Thank you, all of you, for jumping on, commenting, all the fun stuff. Hopefully we get some others on at some point. Change that a little more. Because again, that's kind of a fun topic. Whether you pick up the best cards or you pick up anything at all. So, for the various entities that you see on the screen and aren't on the screen, and that were on the screen, remember, collecting cards is a wonderful hobby. The friendships you forge along the way, that's what really matters. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.